Hello, broadband professionals. I'm Don Simmons, Golden Gate Chapter President. Welcome to the Golden Gate Chapter YouTube channel, and thanks for watching our Getting to Know Your Broadband Professional, your board members series. Getting to Know Your Board Member series. In this episode, I'm talking with Woody Cash, our Chief Content Knowledge Officer and longtime board member. Woody is a 7-time father and a retired 45-year broadband veteran. He's a California native who spent most of his childhood on a cattle ranch in the Arkansas Ozark Mountains, often on horseback working with cattle. In the broadband industry, he's worked as an underground cable repair technician, network technician, and manager of HFC engineering. Before his broadband career, he traveled across North America doing a wide range of jobs. Two memorable ones were picking citrus in Florida and working nights as one of 3 janitors at the Keystone Ski Resort in Colorado so he could ski during the day. Hi, Woody. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well, Don.
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So tell us about some of the jobs you've held.
Well, what was I've done many, but uh, my first job was mostly manual labor. I think my shovel was the main tool I was using. I was pulling drops and digging holes and resplicing damaged underground cable, and then a few years later, the lead tech at the time said, "Don't you want to do something else?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And he handed me a signal level meter and said, "Oh, we can make you a technician." And I said, "Oh, okay." So, so a little bit of training while I was still doing the underground piece, and then next thing you know, he said, "Okay, it's time for you to come in and start doing service calls." So I spent a few years doing like service tech work, and then I guess everybody recognized I did that really well and said, "Oh well, we think we need you to step up and be a sweep technician." So then I learned, how to sweep through the system, balance amps, and set up nodes and so forth. So I did that a number of years, and then I was promoted to network maintenance manager, which my title changed often, but it was kind of the same job. A little bit different structure, but I stuck with that job, and I really enjoyed all my jobs. I was never in a hurry to get to the next level. I just uh, the opportunities kind of presented themselves, like people kind of presented them to me and said, "Okay, it's time you consider doing this next thing." And I said, "Okay, yeah, I'm good to go." And that's how I progressed my way through my career.
Yeah, thank you for taking us through that story. 45 year industry veteran. Everyone's got a story that's been around for a while, and the highlights there were, you enjoyed what you did, and you patiently waited for those opportunities. I do remember you as a network maintenance manager. That's how I know you best. So thanks for giving us some of that history. Uh, what motivated you to take on a career in the broadband field?
Actually, it was by accident. I actually uh, went to my aunt and uncle's house who live in Livermore, and there a guy they had living with them, an older fellow. He said, "Oh, we got a call from the cable company. Said they were looking for you to apply." And I called the and talked to the maintenance manager, and he goes, "No, I didn't call." And and I talked to him for about 30 minutes and convinced him into giving me an interview.
Nice.
And I went and I did the interview. He says, "Yeah, I've been thinking about opening a position, another underground repair tech, because he had one." And and he said, he has too much work. So he told me on the spot, he goes, "Okay, just show up on Monday." So and so I that's how I got started.
Nice.
Uh, but I stayed in the field because it was kind of like right up my alley. As a young person, teenager, my hobby was like RF technology, right? I did like CB ham radio stuff, antennas, worked on televisions and high fidelity equipment. So it's like, wow, I'm doing what was my hobby, but now I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah, it's definitely in your blood, Woody. I mean, to continue to support the board and the chapter has been so meaningful and so telling how how RF technology is in your soul, right? Do you remember the
Yeah,
name of the first company you joined?
yeah, it was Gil Cable.
Oh,
So
okay.
Gil Cable was technically an MSO, multi-system operator for those that don't know that term. But really, they only had everything they had was like all in one place. They had like multiple cities here in the South Bay, um, and it was a privately owned company.
Those
And yeah, there was no stock, nothing like that. It was just privately owned. But yeah, it was a small company, just a family run company, and but it was large. I mean, we had lots of techs, lots of installers, lots of maintenance techs, sweep techs. It was big operation, but a family environment.
nice. And you've seen a lot of industry changes since then.
Oh yes, so many.
So, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Oh, so many. So switching to SCT a little bit, when did you find out about SCT? How did you get involved with the board of directors?
Well, I didn't know immediately, but I kept seeing things and hearing things about SCT, and I found out that a lot of my leaders were SCT members. And and I thought, oh wow, I really wanted to accelerate in my learning, so I end up finding out how to join, and I joined, and I think the first uh, webinar or seminar I went to. We didn't have webinars back then, but I went to I think Chabot College, and it was Chabot College in Livermore. It's now Las Positas, and they had Steve Allen Sr. You know, he led off, and Walt Reams was there too, and yeah, they talked a lot about the industry and where it was headed and so forth. And I go, wow, this is really inspirational, at least for me. And I thought, yeah, I really want to get involved. So then I got involved with that, with SET. I went to every seminar I was allowed to go to that applied to my field of work at the time. And also got involved with the NCTI courses. You're probably familiar with those.
Yes.
So between the two, yeah, I think I learned a lot about the industry, and I just loved it. The more I learned, the more I liked it.
Yeah, I'm so glad those resources were there to help build our careers. Staying on the topic of SCTE, for those that have not renewed in a while or haven't joined at all, what are some of the benefits that you can talk about, or what do you suppose a technician today might be missing out on?
Well, I think the main thing, because I was talking to a leader, and he says a lot of times the progression is just based on their metrics or what they do, and it's not based on a broad knowledge. But I think that's a problem, because I think overall, I think everybody needs to develop a broad knowledge of how everything works, and not just like totally narrow focus. So I think broaden your knowledge and being able to move from position to position, because the thing is, if you might know your job really well, but you might not know another position. So it puts you at a disadvantage when you apply for a position outside of that immediate silo that you're in. So I would strongly encourage people to get involved. And there's just so much knowledge and so many things that you don't know. And I look at the industry experts, and like a Ron Rannick and stuff, and their knowledge is so broad. Uh, they just know so much about it, and if you really want to uh, uh, get up there on in the top end of the echelons, you really should develop a broad knowledge, and it'll help you in today's job too, not just for promotion's sake, but also if how this works, and now you're having a problem here. Well, maybe you know how your end works, but you don't know how the other end works. I can count countless times that I was helping the other end guide them through what they needed to do. It's like, and in knowing that is important, right? You say, have you guys checked this? Maybe you want to look at that. And it's very helpful when you're troubleshooting two ends of a problem.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like you said, goals have gotten very specific and focused, and that's where they belong, and very specific for the role you're in that organization, and you can do those well. But FCT helps provide why why those goals might have been created, right? And even more broader than that, like you just said, how it works together with all the different parts of the business, both technical, and they do some non-technical leadership training and that sort of thing too, some soft skills. So yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and I'd have to say being involved in the board also helped my, with leadership skills. I learned how to work with people that I wasn't their boss, right? And how to get things done as a group and not just me ramrodding stuff through. uh, so that's also helpful too. So if you are a person and you want some leadership experience, yeah, don't be afraid to get involved in the board, because or even a friend of the board, so you can see how things work in groups.
I couldn't agree more. Our board could always use some help, and we're always looking to help the next generation and those out there that are interested in leading or challenging themselves with something new. It's a great place to try that out and have it on your resume when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, and I think that's the other benefit that people don't get, or may be missing, is you really want to build a resume, get into these courses and finish them and put that in your resume. People will see that and I think that was one of the reasons I was promoted. I remember Mark Harrigan gave me a giant endorsement because he goes, look at this guy. He's like burning through all this SCTE knowledge. And I think he was one of the reasons that I went from like a sweet tech lead up to a network manager, because he goes, like, this guy's doing all this stuff. He doesn't have to do any of it, but he's just doing it. He's just trying to learn everything he can get his hands on.
Yeah, you put a lot of extra effort, but that's not always necessary. Even a little bit of extra effort is sometimes the difference maker. So that's a good
It,
point.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to do what I did. You can certainly just get in and pick your spots and go, oh yeah, this would be beneficial to me.
Yeah. Bottom line, do what you love and enjoy doing it and you'll be recognized for it, right?
Hmm.
So switching for a little bit more fun when you're not working or doing retirement-ish things, taking care of business. What do you do for fun?
Well, I really like spending time with my wife, Jet, because, during my career, I was working a lot. So spending her and, I have to give her credit for, many of my successes. She was behind most of that. And I think a lot of us don't give our spouses kudos for everything that they do, but I also like spending time with our grandchildren. But I'm an avid cyclist. I love alpine skiing, traveling, watching Premier League football, and I just like staying busy. There's lots of things to do here at the house and so forth, but so I always stay pretty busy.
You do, and you stay pretty busy on our board, and I'm very thankful for that. You're a hardworking member of our board, and really appreciate that. What about like pop culture topics? You have any books or movies, things that you could recommend for us that you really like?
Well, I I kind of I watch movies with my wife here at home, so gosh, we watch a lot. uh, but I guess what I can talk about is travel. So
Okay.
if you haven't traveled, London, Paris, Beijing, all these major metro areas, there's just so much to see, and I love them. Going to the museums and and seeing the highlights of different countries. So if you get, I would recommend, first of all, if you get the chance, go to London, because there's just so much history there that we can relate to. But Paris is wonderful. Rome is wonderful. I'd certainly recommend getting out there and seeing these places if you have the ability to do so.
Your recommendation is to see the world, so I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I've seen a lot, but I got a lot more to see.
nice. Yeah, a lot more on the list. Well, good for you. I plan to do the same when I'm done working my day job. Well, Woody, thank you for your time for this interview, and thank you to all those who were able to watch and to join us on the Get to Know Your Golden Gate Chapter Board of Directors. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.